Hello.
Hello.
This is a great intro.
All right. Welcome to another episode of the Deep Dive Podcast. I'm Josh.
I'm Nate.
I'm Cruz.
That's Michael. Today we're gonna be covering two anime movies. Kind of a little bit of like a just movie style special. We're gonna be covering A Silent Voice and then Ride Your Wave. It's two movies that we've all seen at this point.
We could do 30 minutes of like Akira if you want.
My brother in Christ, you haven't seen Akira.
I've seen 30 minutes of Akira.
Ooh, cool bike scene.
He texted me and said, "I know enough of the plot." I was like, "No, you don't."
I told him, I said like, so I think I know enough about the plot. So there's like government corruption, anti-government movement, and protests. And he's like, yeah, there's a little more than just that. So I guess Akira another time. And anyway, it's a 2-hour movie.
It is. It's actually pretty long for an animated movie.
Yeah. So I mean, I was once he was like, hey, can you do some SGA ballot lines? I was like, well, I'm sorry, Akira. I'm not gonna sit and try to figure that out while listening to Akira in the background.
Yeah, that movie isn't something you can really watch in the background.
Yeah, no, I noticed that. I was just like, okay, I'm just hearing motorcycle noises. This is definitely an art-centered movie as well. I generally, I could watch, like, My Hero Academia in the background. There's enough dialogue to know what's going on.
Okay, yeah, a lot of it is kind of class stuff and dialogue, but
yeah.
That's not the worst take I've heard you give.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like if it's a 50-50 with My Hero. I feel like with Akira, it's like 70-30.
Yeah. That movie is specifically known for kind of how it was like kind of groundbreaking with the art and stuff.
Right. So there's your Akira portion. Anyway, so do you want to start with A Silent Voice since it's older?
I mean, yeah, we can start with that.
Sure.
Okay.
The Silent Voice came out in the year 2016, I'm pretty sure. Maybe 2015. I should have double-checked that, but I believe it came out in 2016. Who directed it?
I have no idea. I can tell you it's based on a manga. I can tell you that.
That is true. It's based off a manga by Ayasu. Very, very professional.
Nyoko Yamada.
That's the director?
Yes. Written by Reiko Yoshida. Character designs by Futoshi Nishiya. And music by Kensuke Yushi. I'm pretty sure Yushio has made a lot of other soundtracks. That name kind of rings a bell.
Yes. It started off as a manga, came out between August of 2013 and November of 2014 with 7 volumes, and it was written by Yoshitoki Omura, and it was published by Kodansha.
All right, so about the movie.
After 5 minutes, we're finally going to talk about a movie. So yeah, what are your opinions on Silent Voice? For me, my opinions have definitely changed since the first time I watched it. When the first time I watched it, I was like, this is a really good movie. But I didn't think like it was God's gift to Earth. But after watching it a couple more times, I was like, it hits a lot closer each time I've been watching it.
I think it's an honest-to-goodness masterpiece. Like, genuinely. I had no expectations going into the movie, and after I watched it, I was just like,
yeah,
wow.
that's kind of, after I watched it this last time, I was like, this is a really, really good movie. After just thinking it was like, because I first watched it when I was 15 or 14 or 15, but now watching it as a 20-year-old, I was like, it hit a lot closer.
Yeah.
And it was a lot better than I remember.
I watched it first when I got here to Marshall, I think in my freshman semester. But I've noticed, again, because the thing is, like, I haven't rewatched it, and I promise I will do better at remembering the content than our Soul Eater episode.
I thought you rewatched it when we watched it. I thought you were there when the anime club watched it.
Oh, like like twice then? Yeah, maybe. But I haven't rewatched it recently, and it's because I've noticed that TikTok in general really likes depressing things. And so both the movies we're talking about today, I have seen snippets of either on Instagram or TikTok. So the first scene that I got introduced was the the
I mean, I guess we should say, if you're watching this episode, especially with a silent voice, it deals with very heavy themes of anxiety, depression, and even suicide. So
Yeah.
if those are triggering topics for you, you might not at least want to listen to the first portion of this episode.
Yes, the second portion though also is a heavy deal of loss
Yeah.
too. So this is a trauma episode.
Yeah, it definitely deals with heavy. We're dealing with heavier themes today.
Yeah. So my thoughts on the movie, it is. I honestly probably like the second one a little more, but this one I think will always be a cult classic. I think it might even have enough to be a classic, but it's just a really good directed movie. I haven't read the manga, so I don't know how true it is, but it just runs really nice.
Yeah.
It has a normal build up, and then you're dealing with the aftermath of the turning point of the movie.
Yeah. Something I appreciate is how they had like elements of like, romance. I don't know any of the characters' names. I
Yeah.
feel really bad. I don't remember a single character's name.
That's fair. I don't either.
But from
It's Shoya and Shoko.
okay, those
are
are
the
the
two
two,
main.
two main. Okay, they had those elements of romance between them, but I also kind of like that they didn't.
Like fully.
Yeah, like they had it there. There was also obviously chemistry between the characters, but through all the events of like through like all the themes the movie dealt with, they didn't focus on that because that wasn't the prime
point.
Yeah, it's not a romance movie. It's like a self-love movie. For
Almost,
lack of a better
yeah.
word.
Yeah, it was like, I appreciate that they didn't like end it with like a
Self-acceptance.
romance thing because that would have taken a bit away from the kind of message of the movie.
I agree, but also when I've watched it like 2-3 times, I literally fanatically just researched and was like, is there a second series? Is there a second movie? Because I didn't know it was a manga. Because I did want to see what their relationship would have turned out to be. Because I really enjoyed that movie so much.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like I want more.
Yeah, from what I know, I think the manga goes a bit further. They obviously had to cut out a lot to make a 7-volume manga into a single movie.
Right.
So I know there's a few like sub arcs and stuff that were chopped out too.
Yeah. But the thing that I enjoy is that you don't really notice that.
Yeah, as a standalone piece of media, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's one of the. I mean, like Michael, I haven't read the manga either, but it feels like just a really, really good adaptation because it doesn't feel like an adaptation.
Yeah.
Like for like book series or something, sometimes you can tell like, oh, a lot of this was cut out or this was cut out or
Yeah.
they changed this. I mean, there's definitely parts of that in a silent voice, but it does feel like it's one cohesive thing.
You can almost tell that the director, it was a film director. So, and what I mean by that is when some people, when they do anime movies, like they'll get an anime director, like a show director. Those aspects change as, two people from video production. With a silent voice, like you have that conflict. It's built like an actual movie.
Yeah.
Live action movie.
Yeah,
And like when we get into our second one, I think that is the difference. Mainly because nobody knew what was going on. Well, I did, but you didn't.
yeah,
But with the silent voice, it's just it's kind of perfectly like written. So those sub arcs may be important to the manga counterparts, but it was kind of like you didn't need those sub arcs.
yeah. For the main content of what they made into the movie, I would definitely agree with you. It's more of an adaptation than a lot of kind of anime content is. Like,
Right.
to compare it to another movie like Jujutsu Kaisen 0 is an anime movie, but it literally just feels like 4 episodes together. It just feels
Exactly.
it just feels like someone took manga panels and animated them into an hour and 40 minutes.
Right.
Versus this has the structure and pace of just a movie, and I honestly think it was the right way to go. Instead of trying to adapt it into, if you're making a movie, it's better to do it, make it into the style of a movie versus trying to just directly animate panels because you won't have enough time.
That was the example I had earlier. We'll probably have a Dr. Stone episode in the farther future, but that's why I was like, I don't understand why some also do special episodes because they really could have just been 2 extra episodes of a season.
Well, that's kind of a different topic, but I can appreciate longer episodes if like there's an anime, if there's like a kind of longer conflict going on, especially for like season openings and finales.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a different ball game.
Yeah. That one was just kind of like a standalone. It was like, it was good, but it was like, I would have watched this for season 3.
Yeah.
But sorry, it's not a Dr. Stone episode, but just in terms of just kind of movies and like non-TV related content. It was made for TV, but you know what I mean.
Something I definitely appreciate about A Silent Voice is kind of like the complexity of the characters. Like immediately, Shoya, right? You're immediately sympathetic to Shoya. Like in the first scene,
Yeah.
you're like, oh my, you get a lot of sympathy for him because I believed did they show him just biking to the bridge, or I don't remember the very first scene very well, but
It was something along going to the bridge.
and then they show you like the backstory, and I swear, like I have not hated the character almost as much as I hated him by the end of that backstory.
Death the Kid.
But genuinely despicable,
Yeah.
and they somehow managed to bring him around.
It's kind of like I haven't seen that many content that also like revolved around a deaf person, a deaf character. And so it was kind of like nice to see a little bit more like I don't even want to call them unique stories because they shouldn't be, but something that wasn't typically done.
Yeah.
At least in terms of semi-popular Japanese titles. You could have so many smaller titles that, you know, don't really reach the space that it needs to. But Silent Voice was in a perfect time, and in a perfect, how much, like, people know about it. That's why I mentioned off camera that's kind of, like, between a cult classic and a classic. Like, I think people who watch anime will always know about Silent Voice, or have at least heard of it. And that really just kind of brings more perspectives on disabled, individuals.
Yeah. I can't comment on like its portrayal of deafness because I don't know.
Right.
But I think
I believe in the English dub, the person who the voice actress for Shoko is deaf.
that's a good decision.
Sorry, I was checking the character's name, but
I
believe
think
she's deaf.
I do think Shoko is a very well written character. She's very interesting. She's the most obviously the most sympathetic character in the whole movie. But she also has her own complexity to her with kind of she has her own goals aside from just like knowing Shoya. There was that one bit where they tried to find her one friend that had to leave the school.
Yeah.
That had to leave the school in elementary school. That was very showed growth in Shoya, and then it was good to see her reunite with her old friend.
Right. I think also just kind of seeing her character develop was also kind of like heartbreaking too because that them finding her friend was before the incident, right? Yeah. So it's almost kind of talks about how individuals can either fake being happy or be happy, and incidents just kind of happen regardless.
Yeah, still feel isolated.
Yeah, still feel isolated, still feel like horrible thoughts, but sometimes people are genuinely happy in the moment when we're with people, and then just one thought is really what it could take.
Yeah, and there was also there's kind of a bit of like an inciting incident with I forget the one like girl who like never really grew up, and she still wanted to like bully Shoko. I don't remember her name. She was like black hair.
Naoko?
I think maybe.
Yeah.
They had that scene on the Ferris wheel, and I was like, oh, nasty. And then there was another scene where Shoya had an argument with his friends, and there was also a bit of a inciting incident, kind of causing Shoko's thoughts of, I'm only hurting others when she was really, she wasn't, but it kind of, those two things kind of, there were other elements they showed. She saw, the stress her family was under, but that was kind of like at least in the movie, kind of an inciting incident to what happens, at that festival during the festival.
Right.
I liked the movie with... I'm trying to figure out the way to word this. The characters themselves, I really enjoyed how they didn't try to make anyone, like... The good guy is not what I'm trying to say, but, each character feels real because they all have, some type of flaw to them or something.
Yeah.
It's not the, words I want to use because... It's hard to describe what I want to say, but I just can't think of the right words to say.
Yeah, because even characters like Shoko's mother, she can be kind of antagonistic towards Shoya, because at least in the course of the story, but it's also understandable. Like, Shoya was evil as a child, and it's not so easy to see or to believe that someone's really changed that much, especially when you want to protect your daughter.
And again, flaws is not the word I want to use, but it's
kind of like a redeeming quality in a sense. Like it gives them realisticness like to their character, but also something that they can like change.
Yeah.
Every character in the movie has negative traits and positive traits.
Yeah.
Like even the one with, like, I would say the most negative traits, Naoko, there's still a little bit of positive. You see that throughout the movie. She's still a friend.
Yeah.
Just not the best one.
At the very end, even if it was an insult, she did start to pick up.
Yeah, become
to
friends
learn
with.
sign language as well.
Yeah, and that kind of like, and also you see Shoko change a bit there because she opens up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And starts calling Naoko like a baka.
Do you want to talk about the scene itself? Or?
Well, I imagine so. Yes.
Okay. Well, I guess I will. So Shoko ends up inviting Shoya, right? That's how you pronounce it.
Because at this point in the movie, he's basically befriended. He's in the good graces of Shoko's mother. I forget the name of Shoko's little sister, I think. But he's in the good graces of the whole family now. They're extremely close.
Yeah. Which is why I was like, okay, they're gonna start dating, and
Mia.
I think that was what I was expecting because like they were kind of flirting, but he was like kind of dumb, up to this point. But I feel like also could go into his decision that like she like feels worthless and like unwanted even by him, because like man has autism, if I'm gonna be honest. Like he is not understanding emotions that's coming from her.
I was gonna say he just doesn't have a clue, but
Yeah.
you can say that.
Well, yeah. So they go to the festival, right?
Yeah, there's fireworks.
Okay, yeah. And so they sit down, to watch the fireworks show, and then suddenly she just kind of
She told him like he had to get up and leave.
yeah, she just got up and left, and so she went back to their apartment, her family's apartment, and I think he went there because her mom like asked him to like pick something up.
It was, I believe it was Nishimiya, asked Shoya to get the camera from the apartment.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he goes in and he's being cautious at first, if I remember correctly, because, he just kind of shown up to the place. But, he's trying to talk to her and he's like, hey, I just, like, hey, where are you? I'm trying to get the camera, kind of looking around. And he saw the dining sliding door open to a balcony.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was like a bedroom balcony or the dining room.
It was kind of like a
dining.
central room.
Yeah. And like at first, like I can remember it so clearly that he was just kind of confused at first, and like like, hey, what are you doing? And she didn't, she's obviously deaf, so she didn't turn around. But like I'm pretty sure like he was like asking questions, like just kind of in the confused state he was, and then she just completely drops, and he like this. I still think it's like unbelievable how he was able to get there because that was like a good 15 feet difference. Like I don't even think he was in the balcony yet. Like he was still like in the central room looking at her, and he like
Just dashed across.
yeah he basically lunged and like grabbed her wrist, to the point where like she got hurt from that because like she got kind of from sounds of it got slammed into the balcony. I just remember like a scene of her wrist looking red.
Well, probably maybe could have like dislocated or
Yeah, something of the sort. And so he pulled her over, but because he was basically kind of like waist over, like he was bent over.
He couldn't pull her up.
Yeah. And he didn't pull her up onto the balcony. He pulled her into the downstairs balcony. Like I'm pretty sure her feet hit the balcony below. So she was standing there and he went over and fell into the river.
I don't remember. I just know at some point he was talking to her because she wasn't trying. He was holding her,
Yeah.
but she wasn't trying to pull back up.
Yeah.
She was still kind
I
of
think the last second she tried.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
and then like I don't know, she pulled up or something.
Yeah.
and she managed to get safe, and that was when
I
he
think
went over.
yeah, I think it was that because of how far over he was, he just like her pulling up with him just got her onto the floor below them's balcony. I'm really certain on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure
It
which one
makes
she got onto. Which because I imagine because if she pulled up, she could be able to even grab on to that current balcony and
Yeah.
get up and over. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but she eventually tried to. She accepted his help and pulled up.
Yeah.
which sent him over.
Right. I genuinely think I don't think she got onto her own balcony just because of the logistics.
No, I believe she got back on.
Her balcony?
Yeah, and then as soon as she got up, since he was so far over, his body went over.
Yeah, and he plummeted into the river.
Which that actually ties back into an earlier scene in the movie where I forget what he drops, but he dropped something important,
Yeah, I remember.
and he
I
dived
remember
like
that.
dove off a bridge into the river and kind of like got like
And that's an excellent. Yeah.
Oh, it's because she
she dropped
That
the
scene-
diary or
that like diary that he wrote all like terrible things in. She was trying to open it, but he didn't want her to see it. So he was like trying to pull it away and accidentally pulled it into the river. And then Shoko jumped in the river and then he jumped after.
okay.
And I think that's a really good scenes. Like they do that on purpose.
Yeah, because at that point you don't find out until later. You don't really know that he fell into a river. You just know he went over and now he's in the hospital.
Yeah. And then you find out that what was it, 2 or 3 people that he was friends with at the beginning of the movie, but I think he distanced himself from them. They pulled him out.
Yeah, I do remember that vaguely.
Yeah.
It was because it was kind of like when he had that argument with that
Right.
kind of group of friends, and eventually
Yeah.
they like, went back and they pulled him out.
Powerful scene, genuinely, on that. Like I still think about that and like it makes me slightly uncomfortable, if that makes sense. Not in a bad way, but just because of how like intense it is
Yeah.
and sudden. Because it genuinely is the whole meaning of the movie is to show that like even if things are going good, and like she was making friends, like there's just so much more underlying trauma.
Yeah,
And then to pick that up with didn't I think what's her name, Noksha? Someone ended up like slapping her like after he got into the hospital,
so the person that did all the
and she was
slapping,
like crying.
which I don't think. Right, it was that black haired girl that
Yeah.
slapped Shoko.
Yeah,
And then after that, Shoko's
Naoko.
mom had like a slap fight. I
Yeah.
remember that. I was like,
yeah, and then Shoya's mom like was there, and that was also the thing is that, like it wasn't even like the suicide attempt. It was also the fact that like she's like uncontrollably crying, apologizing over and over again.
yeah, because it
And
like,
just willing to accept the abuse that the black-haired girl was giving her.
yeah, it was because kind of she had already had that feeling of that she's like hurting others,
Yeah.
and then he got hurt trying to save her. But then I remember they showed the scene with like the two mothers talking, Shoyo's mother and Shoko's mother, and also kind of like the last like important thing in the hospital is they showed that actually like, every day, I think what was it you said it was Naoko, was actually going into Shoyo's hospital room to like help take care of him and stuff.
Yeah. I think there's also another element we didn't really talk about, how Shoya had X marks over people that he used to know or didn't know. And I think that also really talked a lot about social anxiety in a sense, but also more importantly, like the guilt that he had for Shoko.
Yeah, for what he did.
That put him in a isolated point. And so that was like not to say to put that over other things, but I thought that was a really unique way that the manga and the anime did it.
And it wasn't just guilt. After Shoko was pulled out of that elementary school, all the bullying turned on him.
Right, yeah.
So that also kind of was another factor in there.
I do remember that, now that you mentioned that, which kind of causes a social anxiety. thing. If none of the bullying really got to him, I don't think those X's would have ever happened.
Yeah.
Because it didn't. In a sense, the bullying gave him accountability because, in a sense, now he knows how she's feeling, and he held himself accountable for it because of that. But like, if none of that happened and he just stayed friends with the bullies, full on, because he was still kind of friendly in the beginning of the movie, but it was kind of just like loose connection, if I remember correctly, because they still talked, but it wasn't like elementary. But it's just like another element that I've never seen before. And it's just such a scenic and beautiful way of just kind of like explaining that. Because they didn't have to put the X's. They could have just, left it out. But it adds so much more visual appeal and more storytelling elements.
Yeah, that was probably, visually, that's probably the most unique part of the movie. I mean, the style is absolutely gorgeous.
Right.
But as far as kind of unique things it does, even though this like style is gorgeous, it is just kind of good anime style.
Right.
Versus what that kind of had, that the X's and stuff give it its own visual mark. Yeah, I mean, like, there is, the final scene where you see, where like, in the, like, school festival and stuff.
He, like, takes his hand off his ears and then
Yeah.
starts seeing, not seeing X's anymore.
Yeah. But as far as that, I think that's most of our, I mean, I have a lot more thoughts on the movie, but, in the terms of a podcast,
Yeah.
it's kind of not as coordinated thoughts.
Yeah.
I mean, if it ever gets popular, you can have your own little break room.
14-hour video essay.
Bro. What would
Going
you...
frame by frame. Anyway.
You see how they drew the tree, but it's different from this scene?
This is a
Drew this way.
representation of...
The leaf going from, like, this to this really is
How they drew the wind is really interesting.
the wind.
You can see the airlines.
Okay.
Where would you rank this movie?
This is a straight up 10 out of 10.
Really?
Genuinely. When I first watched that movie, it was massively impactful for me.
You're gonna annoy me with the second movie then. I was expecting it would be like an 8 because I have Silent Voice at like an 8.5.
I literally said at the beginning, it's a masterpiece. I genuinely believe that.
It is.
See, I used to have it as an 8, but after rewatching it again, I was like, this is like 9.5. If I rewatch it again, it'll probably be a 10, but...
Are we surprised? I was not expecting this. I did not think that mine would have been the lowest at an 8.5. I think it's, I don't know, like, I feel like it didn't, I think me and you have similar views, but in different, like, perspectives. Like, I put 10s for stuff that kind of, like, actually surprised and shocked me. And while it did, it wasn't in the same way as, say, AOT did.
Keep in mind that I had no expectations going into the movie.
That's true.
When I watched it, I was just like...
Yeah, and I already knew about the suicide scene, so I kind of knew what I was getting into.
TikTok
Yeah,
and spoilers.
ruined it for me.
I legitimately think like all the spoilers on stuff like Instagram and TikTok is like harmful to enjoying some media.
Yeah, and I still think 8.5 is a good score.
It's a good score. It's just not like a...
But the thing is like I have like Howl's Moving Castle and Ponyo at a 9, and I think that's more just for its artistic. I like Ponyo's a different reason. I like it because it's cute and sweet. But Howl's Moving Castle, I really like the story behind it as well as the art. That gave it a 9. And I think Silent Voice is a generic anime style.
Yeah, see, for me, I mean, I like art, but I don't like put a whole lot of emphasis on like the uniqueness of the art. If it looks good, it looks good.
Yeah.
If it's unique, I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
But also another thing for me is like if a movie can make me cry, that's probably a really good movie because most media doesn't really affect me like that. And A Silent Voice had me like bawling.
Yeah. The second movie I think hit me like more than A Silent Voice, but with Ride Your Wave, even though I guess we're getting into that one now. If we don't have anything else to say on Silent Voice.
Not any, like, congealed thoughts, if that's even a word.
Okay.
It's a word now.
So with Ride Your Wave, I guess I'll start off of my basic thoughts. There was a lot more depth that I thought compared to A Silent Voice because of all the that you did not like about it.
The plot might have been more complicated, but I think the depth of A Silent Voice came from the characters, and I didn't feel as much depth in the characters of Ride Your Wave.
I hate you. No, I'm just
Ride Your Wave, it kind of just feels like good anime film.
Kind of feels like Hater Squad. It's kind of feel like it's trying to be like one of those good, like, impactful anime films. It feels like it's like actively trying to do that.
Yeah, it's like how some movies are made to be Oscar movies,
Yeah.
even if they're like whatever. But
So-
I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just saying it feels like good anime.
Because isn't it advertised like made by the director? I think is it director of Your Name or something like that? Because Your Name is a really, really popular
We should have done that one. I
anime
forgot about
movie. I've been wanting to watch it, but like I've discussed this with you, it's very difficult to find movies in Japanese with English subtitles. Maybe on Netflix or something I can find it, but like renting it on Amazon is almost impossible.
that. Right.
But I think it's good. Also, it was also kind of weird to me. So that was the weird wasn't a good type of weird for me. So the weirdness kind of detracted from my investment in the kind of emotions of it too.
This is another anime movie, but it gave me the same feeling as Fireworks, where it was just like I enjoyed what I watched, but it left me feeling like afterwards.
So let's like, I'll give a brief rundown. So Ride Your Wave is about a girl who is a surfer, and there's our two supporting casts who work for a fire station that like see her surfing every morning. Eventually, that leads to her getting directions by one of them, and a fire starts in her apartment because of people firing illegal fireworks in the construction of building just behind the apartment. Our two supporting characters kind of end up there at the same time. I forget their names.
I do too.
I can look up names.
We're gonna call the one that's more important firefighter. So we have newbie firefighter getting to the top of the building
Yes,
to help her.
with the stairwell.
Yeah, and our veteran firefighter kind of blocks him. I'll just say respectfully. In a sense, like
Minato and Hinako.
yeah, okay.
And that's like Hinako is the
Girl, yeah.
okay.
So Minato gets there first,
Yeah,
and in every sense, he does block his friend.
He's the super hot, super cool firefighter and comes
Yeah.
up on the lift.
And our other buddy is kind of like
He's struggling a little bit.
he's struggling with his firefighting duties. So they kind of exchange numbers in a sense because she said that she would teach him, how to surf. Kind of like to pay him back. And my favorite part of the movie is that you go into all these different montages of them spending time together, her meeting his sister, getting a lock at this kind of like building that kind of does like Valentine's Day events, as well as pictures, them cooking together. And one morning,
Okay, before you jump into that part,
okay.
like for me, I'll say it wasn't what I expected because they have these first few scenes of like, okay, they're getting to know each other. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be like a whole hour and a half of a romance between them. I can appreciate this, and then you get into that montage. I'm like, oh, this is just a whole relationship, and now they're like madly in love with each other, and they support each other. I'm like, okay, this is. I was thinking to myself like, this is concerning, like having this much happiness this early in the movie.
Yeah, that's why I have, I think, a more personal feeling towards it because those montages did a lot for me. It's not just kind of seeing a relationship develop over time. It's just kind of like you're seeing like one of the best formed relationships, like genuinely. There isn't a lot of conflict, and you're just seeing them live life, which not a lot of people are able to do. They're not able to just enjoy the moment. And so those montages did it for me.
And then at some point, I think it was when they went to that lock place. It was kind of snowy, like Christmas time. And they discussed, and she had discussed like, oh yeah, after a good snow, that's like when the best waves are. Mm-hmm. At some point, he had told her about like how he almost drowned as a child, and he became a firefighter because some girl a little younger than him rescued him. And then I guess I'll continue. So the next morning, he kind of decided to go surf after hearing what she said, and he wanted to get better at surfing. And unfortunately, you see in the movie, there's an accident kind of at sea. They start a whole search and rescue party. The other firefighter is a part of it. Mm-hmm. And then eventually Hinako finds out But at that point, they had found him, and he had drowned in the water that morning. It absolutely devastated her. And that kind of kicks off the main plot of the movie, where she starts dealing with the loss of, like, this person that she had grown so close to, and it kind of started depending on. Because they had discussions of how she felt like she was really depending on him, and she was trying to learn to be independent, but at that point, she hadn't learned that yet. So losing him at that point was just absolutely devastating.
It's just hard to have, like, I mean, it was a good movie and impactful in that way, because dealing with loss is such a big part of life, and especially starting to become like that adult age. But it was hard to just go through the movie without being like, this feels like it's trying a little too hard in a sense. I'm sounding like I hate this movie. I don't. I think it's a good movie, but I watched this after rewatching A Silent Voice, and I was just like, it just didn't hit as hard as A Silent Voice.
I kind of had a bit of an epiphany. I think this might be a movie that I might enjoy when I'm older.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of...
Probably.
She's going through this phase of life of kind of figuring out how to stand on her own 2 feet. And Silent Voice is really impactful because it's something you can really empathize with the whole journey of the characters. As someone, who's an adult now in college, I've been through, all of high school, kind of the feelings that can accompany that. But I'm still in college. I'm not an adult yet. So it kind of is being in, even before that stage in life, it's harder for me to connect to the movie when I haven't experienced that yet.
It's like pseudo-independence, but it's not like fully independent. And there hasn't been anything to make me have to be fully independent like that.
Yeah.
I think another thing, maybe, like, I don't know y'all's relationships history too, but...
Nobody.
Right. So I knew that with you, but there are some people that, like, don't understand of losing someone romantically. There's... I think, losing a parent or losing a grandparent, and as somebody that has lost, both, some people might not know what that feels like and might not be able to connect to that yet.
Yeah.
But she's in college, at that time. So she's 19, 20. So it's like, but everything else is like everyone else is developing at their own different pace, and exploring life that she did. So I guess maybe that's the reason why I felt like this was more hit closer to me, because I'm a little bit older, and I've experienced both what Silent Voice has gone through and what Ride Your Wave talks about.
Yeah.
And so we can talk a little bit, I guess, about the weird. So they made a promise to always be there for another, and so whenever she sings the song.
Yeah, a song that they would always sing together.
Yes, and the song that was present when he was drowning, I'm pretty sure. I remember something like it was on the radio. I
don't remember, but I know it was probably on the soundtrack or something.
Yeah. I always thought that, like, maybe that was both their favorite songs because it was from that day. And it was, so he will appear in water.
Yeah, if she sings it.
How she goes about it is that I think Josh's initial reaction to seeing that scene with me was like, is she tripping?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But it was genuinely that he was, from my understanding, and like I think with more thought, is that he never passed on. He never, like, he was kind of stuck between life and death in the afterlife specifically.
Yeah, somehow his spirit was kept in water.
And it was mainly because of that promise to be there for her. But what happens is that she ends up just kind of like continuing this relationship. Like, it's like, okay, well, you're here. And so she would keep him in a water bottle. She would tell her friends, do you see Minato? Do you see Minato? His own sister and friend. She blew up a beluga, kind of like a water float, you know what I mean? Like a thing you can put in the water.
Yeah, and the thing with that beluga, it was like, I'm pretty sure it was a gift. I think she either gave to him or he gave to her.
Yeah.
Because it was brought back when they unpacked his like desk and stuff.
Yeah. And so now she starts bringing this with it. And at first he's fine with it. Like, this is fantastic. But like things shifted when like there was a guy that was hitting on her, and then he's like, I'm really just kind of preventing you from moving on too. They kind of talk about it, and I forget why she ended up just kind of like, oh, she and the firefighter boy went and was trying to confess feelings to her. They went outside and a car crash happened, and instead of him going to help, he was trying to protect her. And she sang the song to have Minato come back and put the flames out. And he almost gets sucked into heaven. That I can understand why this is a roller coaster for other people, because it really just be kind of like, what is
just
happening?
like, what?
So much is happening.
Yeah, because at first you're like, oh, okay, he's in water, and you see a little bit. She tries to walk on like water and stuff, and like, okay,
Yeah.
he can do a little bit, but then like at that point, it's just like she sings, and he's just like almost a water deity at that point.
Yeah,
I was just like,
almost. Yeah, no,
Like the moon goddess from Ponyo.
right.
Or just the fish people from
Yeah.
Ponyo. Literally making the whole world flood.
It's
Not to that extent, but
still, it was a lot of control, a
It's
lot of power just out of nowhere. Honestly.
yeah. And then after that incident, I can't remember like if she ever really brought him back.
Not really.
Yeah.
She kind of tried to talk to him a bit when he was in the beluga, but he kind of wasn't very responsive.
Yeah, and it's kind of like in a sense that we was like unconscious because of that event, almost. Because I do remember that he just kind of floated there, and I genuinely the first time watching that I was like, is he dead? Like it, but it's like is he? You know what I mean?
Is
It was
his
just-
spirit dead?
yeah, like genuinely, like is this a form of death? So she tries to move on, and she talks more with his sister, and then she's able to. Wait, I think that happened after.
Yes. She unlocked the phone after going to pay her because she was trying to. At that point, she was just trying to move on and accept.
Yeah.
sorry.
So she went to pay her respects, at his house,
You find
Right.
at the family house, and then at that point she figures
amongst
out
the phone.
Yeah.
from like finding a day in the photo album or something like that.
Yeah, it was the day that she saved him originally.
Yeah, because you also find out in that scene that she was the girl
She was the girl that
who
saved,
saved
him.
him.
Yeah, so eventually I guess that happened first, and then that led to our final scene where his sister wanted to get those people who hit the fireworks arrested.
Yeah, so they went out to eat at the cafe that she worked at or something, and
Yeah, and then
that's what it led into there. But I also like to note that she tries, in part of her moving on, she also tries to kind of be inspired by helping people, and she starts becoming a lifeguard.
yes, I
So that's
forgot
something I
about
wanted to
that.
add, because that was kind of the biggest thing for me of like, oh wow, she's really moving on. She's doing her own thing at this point in the movie.
So we get to the it was like a big tree with like a construction building around it. It was quite weird. I was like, you would not see that in a normal place. I don't care. And the tree gets caught on fire, and
Because they're setting off illegal fireworks.
Yeah.
The sister was being kind of stupid,
yeah,
saying we have to photograph evidence. No, just call the cops. But
yeah,
that's one thing that annoyed me is like that was kind of a thing of the plot only happened because the character was an idiot.
that's fair. Yeah, I can understand that. Eventually, firefighter boy. Also, there was a little scene too where
The sister,
talked, yeah, the
the
sister
confessed to
was in love with
firefighter
him.
boy.
he gets like he gets up there with firefighting crew, and then so she decides to sing her song, and here comes Minato, the god of the oceans, Poseidon himself. Where'd you get that water from?
It really came out of nowhere.
For
'Cause
real,
I didn't see where
really
it
did.
come from. What came from at that point? Because when they saved when he saved that car, it was from the ocean.
Yeah,
They were kind of just in the city at that point.
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he just pulled it out of like the hydrants or something. I don't know.
That would make the most.
It would make
sense.
the most sense, but just
And so here he comes like dousing the flames. I'm gonna be completely honest. I genuinely think he just did it because he's an asshole. But genuinely, he took so long. It was so quick with the first couple lectures, but he needed to go see his homeboy
That is
for a second.
He held them underwater like he's saying hi. These people are like struggling.
Yeah, and he's like, just swim up here, swim here. I'm like, bro, you could just go. You could be quick about it.
Yeah.
But no, he needed to have a moment with them.
It's good that the other character saw that she wasn't tripping.
Yeah.
But-
and that, I honestly thought that was kind of sweet. I like that. Because I guess the reason why he got so much water is because he had this plan, I guess.
Well, also it was a massive fire engaging engulfing a massive a whole building. So you
Yeah,
needed a lot of
true,
water at
yeah.
that point.
But I mean, like, he got all that water.
And I think
to
his
get her to
plan was
surf.
incredibly reckless.
Fair. I can't blame that.
This movie was so weird. Not like talking about it. I was like, this movie is.
It is a little bit of a roller coaster now that I'm talking to other people. But yeah, all that water comes up and like he's like, just swim up. And first off, I think this like you're really just Jack and Rose the heck out of this with just his sister lying flat on the surfboard and our girl literally just surfing. It took so long for her to get down to the bottom. I was like, "You're not down yet." It was dynamic scenes for like 8 minutes.
I know.
Girl almost fell. His sister kind of pulls her leg down. Eventually comes out and like they're able to say their goodbyes. And he moves on. But that honestly probably was the thing I hated the most. Was just like we're literally just seeing her surf down probably a 15-story building, maybe 20. But I just feel like realistically, even though she was surfing the side of it, she would have been down minutes before she actually did.
Yeah. One thing I'll say is we didn't mention this, but after the accident with Minato, she stopped surfing.
Yeah.
Because she hated the ocean at that point.
Yeah, my bad.
And this was the first time she ever surfs again, which it's a sweet moment to like have her start surfing again.
Yeah.
But
I enjoy it, but
in my whole opinion, I think there is a kind of too much plot emphasis on like water spirit and plot stuff.
Yeah.
When I feel like this should have been a more character focused movie.
yeah, no, I agree with that. Thing is, like, I'm a little torn on it because I do like the metaphor it's having, and like this is her wave. This is gonna get her to move on too and get back to what she loves to do. But also, it could have been done better.
Especially in the ending, because like I was like, okay,
I can't remember
firefighter
the
boy is gonna get up there and save the two of them, and then she might accept, through that Minato isn't the one who's gonna save her now.
Yeah, but he did.
But actually, they had the resolution is she called on him, and she kind of knew that would cause him to be sucked into heaven for good this time.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of don't like the fact, even though it was part of her acceptance, I don't like the fact that the solution to the final problem was her relying on him again.
Yeah, I think that kind of goes into the ending though too, because when if we're ready to get to that point, but when she's moved on, it seems like it's been a couple months at this point. And if I remember correctly, the ending scene is her walking in that tower where they have that thing.
So they were back outside of the tower.
Yeah.
And they were like trying. She was like trying to get firefighter boy to go up with Minato's sister.
Yeah. And it announced that it was like 1 year that they put a lock around it, and then she just cried, the saddest and ugliest cry that I honestly heard since I watched Silent Voice.
I will say and
it ended there.
I don't think that detracts at all, because that's a very extremely accurate depiction of loss.
Yeah,
you can
that's
accept
true.
that moving on, but something like that of him planting at this thing a year in advance is going to bring it all back for a little bit.
Wait, did he plan that?
Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
What had happened they kind of joked a bit about how it's just calling in a message to the station, but he had called in that message like a year before when they locked that thing.
Do you remember the message? Because I didn't hear that part.
It was just something about like not a proposal, but kind of just saying he loves her and he wants to spend his life with her.
I mean, you have to understand why I like the movie the way it is, right? Because it's just like so emotional though. Even with the water god, like Poseidon, like it still was like enough like for me to like feel that, or so that's why like I slightly enjoy it just a slight bit more than Silent Voice.
Yeah, for me it's a thing of I haven't gone through like the experience of standing on my own 2 feet. I mean, kind of, but not yet. I'm 19. I'm not that old yet. And then I just simply do not relate at all to the feeling of losing someone like she lost Minato. I've never experienced that in my life. So I can sympathize, but I can't understand.
Yeah.
And then I just also have a few nitpicks. I think it should have been more character focused. I feel like if it was, I would have enjoyed it more. But I mean, it was a character focused movie, but I feel like they could have done it differently.
Yeah, how they explained loss by keeping Minato around was the weird thing.
Even then,
Well, do you think that if they had him more like instead like in a mirror, like everything that she saw like was him would have been better than like a embodiment of water?
If it was more of her just tripping, I feel like it would have been a better. It would have been more my style of that kind of. Like the portrayal of Lost through the seeing him in the water is fine, but the fact that he's like actually in the water, it's just. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just kind of weird for me.
What's your thoughts? You ever lose somebody romantically?
That's
Not
a very
in that
personal
way.
question.
Not in that way,
Tell us about
but
your drama.
so it was a long time now.
I was 13.
The closest thing I've experienced to like losing a loved one was when I was like 8.
Yeah, same.
But it's hard to put 8-year-olds need emotions into 20-year-old need emotions.
Yeah.
And while it's still like there still have been more loss in my life, it's been different. It hasn't been like a close family member or someone like a close best friend. It's just been like people who have been in my life but not in that way. So I'll maybe when I get older and rewatch this, maybe I'll start to like it more. And like I did like the movie, just not it just hasn't hit yet, for lack of a better word.
I mean, do we have any other things that want to say about it?
Not really. I don't have a lot of strong opinions except for it was good. I can appreciate it. It was just kind of weird for me.
What would you give it out of 10?
A 7.
Yeah, for me it'd be like a 7.5, maybe an 8, but
I respect that. I think like with me having Silent Voice at like an 8.3, 8.4, around there, I would have Rider Wave at like an 8.6.
To me, that's wild. To me, there's no universe where Rider Wave is a better movie than A Silent Voice, but
Literally by 0.3.
still, literally.
And it's really just the reason, like, and as basic as I can so we can wrap up, it's just that while Silent Voice is powerful, they both have the same element of suicide or a death. Like, I combine those two in terms of like something really intense. Also, both overplayed on TikTok. That's why a lot of people have heard of those movies.
I would say they both have tragic themes.
Yes. Well, we have the tragic conflict. Is that a little bit better?
Yeah.
Okay. So they're very similar in terms that they have the tragic conflict with the intensity that comes after it. That being her losing her mind, and with the crying scene. Those are the things that I will always remember both those movies. The thing is that I think that Ride Your Wave has more of just that kind of it almost kind of gets worked on and fixed at A Silent Voice, right? In terms of like it gets a little bit better, and then it has a happy ending. It's a decent ending with Ride Your Wave, and so what I mean by that, from the conflict all the way to the ending, it was pain and water gods, but it's just that explanation. You know what I mean? And so that's why I give it a slight over A Silent Voice, because it's like it's not just a moment. It's like the rest of the other half of the movie is like it's still lost. It's still lost.
I mean, A Silent Voice, it has a back and forth through the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's up and down pretty much to the end, and the end isn't up, but it's not like everything's solved. It's just
right.
He's opening up to the world now. It's basically what losing the exits. It's not like his fear of talking to people is going away. He's just open to talking to people now.
Yeah, but it's just, and like I enjoy it. Like I hate putting these two movies up together because I love them a lot.
It's kind of just the fact that we're talking about them in the same episode. You don't have to compare them together.
Yeah, it's just how with Ride Your Wave, it's just kind of like I was heartbroken through the whole time, because you can just see her like the different interpretations is that it's just a theory of loss, like it's just a explanation of loss, but also like into like you can see other interpretations, like she losing her mind, you know. And so I don't know, I just felt more emotions that came from that other than the initial once, like after the hospital scene where she got hit and, you know, was crying and trying to say sorry in English, like not even like wording it. It just kind of ends after that, in my opinion. Like it's still talked about, but it's not as intense. I just feel like the intensity was still higher for the remaining ending of Ride Your Wave, just with instead of just like like crying, yelling, just delusion
Well,
and crying.
I wouldn't, not delusion, just grief. It's just at that point, it's just grief.
Yeah, it is just grief, but like again, if he wasn't in the water, it would just kind of be like she's taking the grief so hard that she's kind of like disassociating and seeing things, seeing him.
Well, yeah, but he was real in the water.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's the interpretation is there too, for a part of it until we get that confirmation. Because I generally thought that she was like
Well,
seeing things.
I don't know. You get that confirmation pretty early with like the water itself moving, but this is a whole lot.
You're nitpicking what I'm saying. To be honest. But yeah, the water does move and stuff like that. But I didn't get a clear confirmation until he started talking.
Okay.
So when he was in there, like for like at least 10 minutes,
Well, yeah,
it was just
I
him
had the
there.
same thought, Mike.
Yeah. So that's what I mean is like there's that interpretation that like the grief's gone so much that like it's affecting her mentally, and like if she doesn't get stuff fixed out, like she might end up just changing her chemical compounds. Like she
Yeah.
might get an illness out of this, you know, because schizophrenic, you can develop that yourself. I've seen people do it with just so much trauma and not healing and taking that time to heal, or sometimes with drugs, like you can get schizophrenia and other diseases like that. So
Yeah. Like, I recognize the quality in it. It was just something like with these kinds of movies, I haven't said this yet, but with these kind of more character focused kind of drama movies, I have to really connect with it to
that's
really
fair.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a big fan of drama, so
Yeah.
it has to be like kind of personal.
That's how I felt with a show we'll be talking about in the future, A Blue Period. I feel like if I watched it in the future, it would have less of an impact on me. But when I watched it at that time, I was like, it hit like as close as a show could.
Yeah.
And with Ride Your Wave, it hasn't gotten to that point yet.
And the thing is like a 7 to an 8, like a 7's just me being a little petty. Like 7's not a bad ranking for a movie that you still enjoyed, I assume, but it's just
Yeah.
like it's just kind of like any other show, and that's not bad.
Yeah.
The thing is, it will not be as bad as season 2, 3, how many seasons of Sword Art Online, and no one can argue with me on that.
Yes, because I would never watch Sword Art Online because I've never heard a good thing about it.
Season 1 is as good as it gets. Stop there if you ever decide. Season 1 is like
Honestly,
eight.
episodes 1 through 12.
Yeah,
Don't worry, I'm never gonna touch it.
8.
I'm not a
That's it.
I'm not a fan of the whole genre, so I'm very picky.
Oh, you don't like isekais?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
me
I've
neither.
seen 2, and that's it.
You seen the Mario movie? It's also technically an isekai.
Next we're covering next episode Mario movie on the podcast.
Bro, okay, if you wanted to like go over the Sonic movies and Mario movie, I would.
I wouldn't. I did not. I've seen one Sonic movie and I did not enjoy it, but
You didn't enjoy it?
What?
I thought that was like
it was
I
okay.
thought
I thought the
Decent.
Sonic movies
It
were
was
good.
just it was just fine, but
Yeah.
I feel like we're digressing at this point.
I generally was
I
expecting
like the
Mario to
Sonic
be worse.
movies.
Yeah, no, it was fine, but I can't say I particularly enjoyed it. But
That's our next podcast. We're not doing Blue Exorcist next.
alrighty. This
Alright.
has been Josh.
This has been Nate.
This has been Ramon.
That has been Michael, and we're signing off.